going to start the recording with no students. So I start the recording today, April 24th, about our lesson of unit number 10. The purpose of this activity was to interact among students about the homework. So considering that you could see the instructions of the homework in the PowerPoint presentation and at Aula Virtual. The idea was that you could show me how you did, any questions or any doubts. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to do the homework, um, just in case it works, as an example for you to revise your own. Please remember that you can send your homework to me by email if you don't want to do it at Aula Virtual to avoid any complications or problems with other students. So if you want to, I'm open to receive your homework written at Word in Word or PDF or maybe as a message to my email address, and I can give you some feedback before the test. Because the questions that appear there in the PDF, in the PowerPoint, are very similar to the ones that you're going to see in your real test. Remember that you have a test coming soon next week. And that test is about unit number 10, 9 and 10. That means that you will have to be comparing and contrasting means of transport, but also that you will have to make comments about movies and films. In relation to means of transport, we are going to start with Unit 9, Lesson 1. Guys, I'm going to share my screen and we will be doing the homework. I will be doing the homework so you can look. At the end of this task, you will be able to see some examples for making suggestions and invitations. And that will be it. Okay, so talking about your homework of units 9 and 10. The first one was about means of transport. But before that, since the objective is compare and contrast, I need to revise the rules. Remember that for one syllable, in comparatives I add ER and superlative B and ESD. But I have to remember that for consonant, vowel, consonant, I have to double the last consonant for adding ER and ESD. But when the adjectives finish in consonant and Y, I add IER and IEST. When they are longer, with more than one syllable, I add more in front or the most. And these are the three that I have to memorize. So if I go back to means of transport, the question is, um, what is the best form of transport when there is a lot of traffic? Use at least one comparative and one superlative. Okay, I was talking to another class like a few minutes ago, and we were discussing about what was the best means of transport we can use when there is a lot of traffic. If we refresh our memory, we're talking about the vocabulary of the unit, and there was this PDF document that was in blue. I don't know if you remember. There was a text called the rush hour. It was the first paragraph. And there was a situation where a person couldn't park the car because there was so much traffic jam and there was no place to park. There were no places in car parks. So um, as far as I see and according to my experience, using a car is the worst thing we can use when it comes to traffic jams and rush hour. When there is a lot of traffic, of course, in my opinion, the best option is to walk. But if there are long distances, I prefer to use the metro since I live in the fifth region and the metro is not as crowded as in Santiago. In Santiago, I don't know what to do. I have never been there in rush hours and I don't want to be there in rush hours either. So, in my opinion, all in all, the best way to commute means to go and come from work, to commute in rush hours is the metro, the subway, because it is cheaper, it is more organized than any other means of transport, it is cleaner, and it is faster. than going by micro or colectivo or bus or, of course, going by car. I hate driving to Valparaiso since I live in Quilpue. So that is mine. I hope you could check yours. And if not, don't forget to send it to me to my email address. Okay, so talking about journeys, it says that I have to describe coherently a journey, and I have to use the page 77, activity 3 as an example. So that's what I'm going to do. So, since I was talking about that, let me go. This is 8. This is 10. Just a second. Okay, so it is unit number 9. I'm sorry, I have just closed it. So, talking about 9.2, we were already finished with talking about these means of the comparatives and superlatives. And remember, this is for the test, okay? The first thing is the getting information, the expressions, the questions. Then we were talking about the comparatives and superlatives. And now we are going to be talking about journeys. First, I need to refresh my memory, right? So I'm going to read hers. And it says, one of my favorite journeys is with a verb with ing. One of my favorite journeys is walking, or going, or traveling. And then it says from, from here to here. Okay, so from to. So from my house into the shopping area. I go out of my front door. So I go out of my front door. Yes, that is the expression. And across Southern Lane. So across this street. Yeah, so if I go out of, I go across because I'm going from here to there. Those are the prepositions of movement. I go down some steps. So I go down some steps. Remember that steps are peldaños. Stair is escalera. So I go down some stairs and then I go into park. Go into park. And also I go through the lane with the well fields. I go through. Then I go up some steps and I go to my favorite cafe. So here is the example. Unfortunately, I don't walk that much to talk about a journey that I like because this person is talking about a journey where she walks. I don't walk very much. I mainly drive. So I'm going to give the example of the book from the book. And so I would be lying to you. One of my favorite journeys is walking from my house in Lower Sydenham to the shopping area in Lewisham. I go out of my front door and across Sutherland Lane, and then after a few minutes, I go down some steps and into a quiet riverside park. It's really beautiful, with lots of trees, flowers, and green grass. I walk for about 40 minutes near the river and then go through Ladywell Fields, a large park. Then I go up some steps and right at the top is Barclays, my favorite cafe, and some nice shops. So, in your test, you must remember to use the expressions for movement. And talking about the movies, okay, so the movies that I love watching are the rom-com, the romantic comedy, because they make me laugh and cry at the same time. They are more connected to reality, maybe, because romance it's not all about flowers. There are many things that can happen, like bloopers in your life. So it is always good to have something to watch that is not that dramatic and it's not that sad, but at the same time it's romantic and you can have a lot of fun. Um, I mainly watch movies and films to have fun and to entertain myself. So, since that is my main purpose, I would consider that romantic comedies are the best for me. The ones that I don't like are the ones that make me feel stressed and scared. Like any horror film, I cannot watch it. I don't know why, but I cannot see a monster on the screen because I do not even follow the plot of the story. I cannot follow it because the members and the characters, mainly the characters of the movie, if it is a scary movie, make me feel scared, and I don't like them at all. So I don't pay lots of attention to the plot. I don't even watch some of the scenes of the movie. So I would say that horror films are not my cup of tea. I would also add that science fiction is not something that I'm fond of. I don't like them that much because I would like to watch something that is more connected to real life. So, to finish with it, because that was the homework, I'm going to go to unit number 10. That is about making suggestions. There are some expressions for making suggestions like, why don't we, would you like to, or we could, for making invitations, for suggesting. The other ones are for answering to those. Here you have more examples for saying yes, good idea, fine with me. For saying no, I don't really want to, no thanks. For saying yes, also that sounds good. When you're not sure, you say I'm not sure. But also for inviting, you can say let's. Please listen to the example given. If you're listening to this recording, stop it, pause it, and then listen to check.
Some of these films look quite interesting.
Yeah. Why don't we go and see one sometime this week?
Why don't we go? Why don't we plus a verb?
Yeah, okay. And would you like to see Family Law? I heard it's really good.
Would you like to see?
I don't know. It sounds a bit boring. We could see the others.
Another invitation. We could see, and that is not a question.
Well, I don't usually like horror films, but that one sounds good.
Okay, so that would be the explanation. My recommendation is that you look at unit number 10. There you have like a reading comprehension text where you have different examples of chart of movies in the description, so you can think about your the one that you like most and less, and then in that way you can practice this conversation using different expressions. So now I'm going to stop the recording. So thank you very much for paying attention to me, and I will clarify any doubts or questions that you may have during this session. So now that I am going to stop the recording, I would like to ask if there are any questions or doubts so far. No?